Alexa, what do we have here?
Something badass.
Well, let's get into it. Okay guys, here we've got a shiny package from Mosko Moto. As you can tell from the title, this is the Reckless 80. Let's go ahead and get it open. Oh boy. Well, I apologize for the pretty unprofessional filming setup we have here again. I've still got the new garage being worked on, so we're doing all of this in the back of the side-by-side still. And let's get into it. Got your paperwork. You can't see that. Good. So, oh look at that. Some stickers, more paperwork. This is not instructions, just talks about Mosko Moto. If for some reason you ended up watching this video and you don't know about Mosko Moto, all I can say is they make an incredible product and they have excellent customer service, and Pete and Ashley and a few others that I've met that actually work for Pete and Ashley are just awesome people. If you haven't had the pleasure of trying out their products, I highly recommend it and you will not be disappointed. Alright, so we got the box open here. There is a lot of stuff in here. First thing you get is their, I think it's just called they call it their dry bag. I use it for a laundry bag, mainly because that's what Pete suggested for it. Works pretty well. You put your nasty, stinky clothes in here, or wet clothes, and keep it separate from all of your nice, clean clothes or dry clothes. Next thing we got in here is the heat shield. Obviously, this is for your exhaust. If on your bike the exhaust is up too high or somehow configured where it's going to interfere with the bag, you don't want to melt your fancy bag. Another thing that I learned from the guys at Mosko is that if you have your exhaust is set up in a way where if the bike falls and then your bag is pushing on the plastic and then the plastic is pushing onto the exhaust, it's a good idea to put this in between your plastic and your pipe so that you don't accidentally melt the plastic. For my bike, I don't think I'll need this. Obviously, I'm going to keep it just in case I need it for one of my other bikes. Next thing is the tent pole pocket or tent pole bag. So the way they have this luggage set up, it's intended to to be used in a way where you keep your poles and your tent separate, because the body of your tent can pack down really small, but the tent poles are obviously the bulkiest thing, the part of your tent. So you put your tent poles in here, and then you'll see once everything's put together, you can keep this up high on your bike so your poles, number one, aren't going to get damaged if you crash, and number two, they're bulky, they can be up out of the main portion of the bags and save space that way. Just like all of their other dry bag type products, this is that radio frequency welded. I don't actually know what the material is, but it's tough and it's definitely waterproof. Next we've got the liner. Obviously it comes with 2 of these. Let's get this one out of the bag. This is big. My crappy camera situation does not allow me to get this whole thing in frame here, but this is one of the bags for the main legs of the luggage. They are 25 liters each for each of these. Obviously you can overstuff them the way that the guys at Mosko design all of their bags, is in a way that you can overstuff a little bit if you need to and get more than the rated capacity. Same as the tent pole bag, radio frequency welded seams. This one has a clear pocket so that you can kind of see what's in there once you pull it out. You'll kind of see how that works once we're done, once we have it on the bike. Pull strap here, again, you'll see what that's for on the bike. And one thing that I really like that they do, it's bright blue inside of there. It helps reflect some of the light, so when you're on the side of the trail or the side of the road and you need to grab something out of here, it's not just a black hole in there when you open it. You can actually see what you're looking for. Pretty cool idea. Next we have the other leg. No point opening that on camera. Our next piece is the Stinger 22. This is your top bag or tail bag, whatever you want to call it. Get that one out of there. So this one's got a little bit more going on with it than just the larger bags. This one, as you can see in the name, Stinger 22, is about 22 liters. Again, you can overstuff it a little bit. You've got a zippered pocket here on the front, and there's a clear window just for this pocket, not for the whole bag. And looks like they put some loops on here that you can put straps through, I would assume. And then there are loops on the side of the bag for just more ways to strap it down. On the bottom, you've got 2 patches of Velcro, and those interface with some Velcro that are on the main body of the Reckless 80, so that when you have it mounted on the bike and then you just set this on there, the Velcro kind of holds it in place so that it's less likely to slip out the sides. We'll get into that more once we get the thing put together. And this one again is a roll bag, blue interior, same as the others. One thing that is not at all a big deal, but I like their Scout 25 where it's a roll top instead of a roll side. So it'll actually be sitting on the bike like this. And the way it's set up here, you access the bag through the side. I kind of like getting at it from the top, but that's just my preference. Do whatever you want. Oh wow! So this bag has the main body in it. Figure out how to open it. So it is some assembly required. We'll go over what needs to be done. It's really simple, but you get in that last bag, you get one leg, another leg, and then the centerpiece. And we'll go over specific features on the main body of this once it's on the bike. And so the point of this is to protect your waterproof bags, because those waterproof bags, yes, they are weatherproof, but they're not crash resistant in any way. So these wrap around the waterproof bags so that if you do have a crash or just brush up against a tree or whatever, these protect your bags and preserve their weatherproofness. So we'll, we've got everything. Oh, there's another couple things in here. We've got this bag, has your hardware. Nothing too fancy in here, just the bolts you need to stick the main body together. And then this last thing is a t-shirt. Alright, let's rearrange the camera setup and we'll go through real quick how this thing goes together. Alright, so you're going to want to get your centerpiece somewhere where you can lay it out flat, open up both of the beaver tails, and grab one of the legs. And as you assemble this, you've got a roll top bag on one side and then just molly webbing on the other. And the roll top bag goes toward the back of the bike, which is this end that has the blue aluminum bar. So you make sure your roll top bag is pointing towards the back of your luggage. And then you've got 5 holes here and 5 holes here, and you overlap them. The leg of the bag goes on the bottom, and then the center part goes over the top. They were, like I said, these guys design a nice product. They thought about this part being on the bottom. There's going to be screws in here. You don't want that rubbing on anybody's bikes, so they put this flap here with some Velcro on it to cover those holes once everything's assembled. Pretty smart. So in the interest of saving time, I'll just assemble this off camera. Really simple. All you do is put the T-nuts, these silver T-nuts that come in this other bag. In this bag you've got some Loctite. That was nice. And then there are a whole bunch of, well, I mean by a whole bunch I mean 10. There's 10 of these little Allen head screws. And then there are 10 of these T-nuts. And there should be 10 of these big washers. And they even gave you the Allen wrench. So you'll assemble this with a T-nut in the bottom with the teeth part pointing up into one of the holes. And then you'll lay the centerpiece over the top, put down a washer, and then put the nut or the little bolt in there and thread it together. Real easy. You've got 10 of them to do, 5 on one side, 5 on the other. Alright, we've got the Reckless 80 installed now on my 1290 Super Adventure. It's a very simple install, but it's going to be different for every single bike so I'm not going to show you exactly how to do it for this bike because it won't apply to you anyway, and it's so easy to do. Essentially, you've got 3 straps on the back here that pull the whole luggage backward, and then at the bottom of each of the legs there's 1 strap, 1 for each side, that pull the luggage down and forward, and it's rock solid once it's on there. And everything's floppy right now because I don't actually have the bags in it, but this thing is not going anywhere. Next we'll fill up all of the dry bags. I'll fill them with t-shirts or something so there's some structure to it, and show you what it looks like once everything's on and installed. Alright, here now we've got everything on the bike so you can kind of see what it looks like. It's the first time putting everything on the bike was kind of time consuming. You have to adjust all the straps, take up all the slack. Like on this here, you can see they put these Velcro keepers so that you have all this extra strap in case you need it, but it's not just flapping around in the wind. Well, every adjustable strap on here has this Velcro keeper, and you have to adjust them all the first time you put it on the bike. But once you get them all where you need them, leave yourself, an inch or 2 of slack so that you have some adjustment, and then you don't really need to do it again unless you really overstuff the bag. And next we will do some close-up shots of the bags and talk about a few specific things. Alright, let's take a look at a couple of the things that make these bags stand out. First of all, like I mentioned, all of the adjustable straps have keepers on them so you don't have any excess strap flapping around while you ride. One thing to take note is the one that comes down here to your frame or your foot pegs or whatever. For me, it's strapped to my passenger pegs. This one, because the webbing has to fit through this cam buckle here, it can't have the Velcro keeper on the end of the strap, so it can't roll up and be like captured in there. So this just has to coil back and forth, and then the Velcro strapping holds everything together. But because it's not completely captured, it can pull out. And then you have this down here, flapping on your exhaust on the other side of the bike, could get tangled up in your chain. So I would recommend, once you have everything on your bike, you're ready to leave on your trip, put a zip tie around this so I guess it's not impossible, but it's a lot less likely for this tail to come out. I wouldn't recommend cutting all of this because, this luggage is so easy to switch from bike to bike. You never know if you might need that extra strap. Next thing is you've got extra dry bags on the back of each leg. And I cinched this other strap down a little bit too tight, so this one's kind of squished. But this bag that hangs off the back here is a dry bag, and it's big enough to hold 2 MSR 1-liter fuel bottles, or you could put a tool roll in it, like the Mosko Moto tool rolls. And I have not exactly figured out what I'm going to use that bag for yet, but I'm sure I'll find something. We've got molly webbing here on the front of each leg bag, and that's wide enough for a 2-panel molly accessory. Mosko Moto sells like fuel bottle holders that would fit here. They also have a water bladder holder, but that one is 3 wide, so it would fit here, but it wouldn't be exactly perfect. Or you can go on Amazon or eBay and find all sorts of molly accessories. And they also have a 3-panel or I guess 3 bar, I don't know what you'd call that, MOLLE panel on the back of the beaver tail. Their water bladder will fit right there perfectly. It also fits on the legs, but not perfectly. Again, whatever you can come up with on Amazon, you could strap it on here. You could even put a gun holster on here. I've seen some MOLLE holsters. You've also got these 2 tabs here for if your bike, like mine, has a luggage rack. Your Reckless sits on the rear seat. Then you have more space here. You could put another bag and use these to tie everything down. This side is exactly the same as the other, obviously. Your rear bag, or the top bag, where you've got this loop here for the closure, might be a good idea to clip that. So this is captured in there, so even if somehow the Velcro failed, your beaver tail fell apart, this bag can't go anywhere. Let's get this out of the way and look at the last couple things. On the inside of the front of the beaver tail, there's 2 zippered pockets that you can put whatever the hell you want in there. I don't know what. Then, let's try and move some of this out of the way. Not really. So you'll see this blue piece in here. It's actually an aluminum bar, and that bar can slide out of here, and if any of your straps get broken, ripped, torn, whatever, you can pull this bar out and replace just the straps. If they were sewn to this piece, you'd have to replace the whole thing just because of a broken strap, or take it to somebody and have it sewn back together. So this bar is a really good idea, and they have it on this strap as well, and this one, and I believe the bag has one as well. Yeah, for the cam strap is also on one of those bars, so if this gets ripped, you can replace just the cam strap. Last thing that they put on here that I think is a really cool idea is this clear pocket. They advertise it as, you put your travel documents in here, and when you come up to a border crossing, you just rip that off and take it in with you. It's just Velcroed onto the beaver tail. That is a really cool idea. Unfortunately, we can't all be international travelers. At least for when you're riding in your country, you can keep your bike registration in there. And if someday I ever go on an international trip, I'll make sure to bring the clear bag with me. All right, and you've also got the tent pole bag that the kit comes with, and there were 2 Velcro straps here and here that when you've got your tent pole bag on, you strap this into the bag, into the Reckless system, and put your Velcro straps through here so that this can't slide out either way, and keep your tent poles nice and safe way up on top. If they were down here in your leg bags, they might get bent if you have a crash. Where up there, they're pretty well protected. My tent has very short pole segments and doesn't need that gigantic bag, so I'm probably not going to use that. I have heard that some people are using that to put a collapsible fishing pole in, or even just a traditional breakdown pole. That's a pretty cool idea. I might actually use it for that. concludes our quick overview of the Mosko Moto Reckless 80. Hope that was helpful to somebody out there. And like I said at the beginning, I can't recommend these guys enough. They are an awesome company to do business with. And if you've never bought from them before, you may have never even heard of them. They don't sell through distributors. They only sell direct to customer, which is pretty cool because it means you get a much better price on the stuff than if you were buying it through Rocky Mountain ATV or Revzilla or whatever. And it also means you have direct contact with the manufacturer if there are any problems. Not that I've ever had any of those. And they're just genuinely nice people. I think you'll be very impressed with the whole process if you decide to buy not just the Reckless 80 from them, but anything they sell. So, like I said, hope that was helpful. If you've got any questions, leave a comment. I would sure appreciate a thumbs up or a subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.